Hello. Now we are going to discuss about engineering design processes and process engineering. What are these? So, in the engineering design process, there are various steps that are being followed by the engineer for creating the functional and non-functional requirement of the product or process. Then, what are the process that are highly interactive, that actually some of the part of that process need to be repeated many times before that process has to be completed or need to be enter in the another step of that. So there are some process that keep on iterating. Then decision making of the process should need to be done based upon the some process design mechanism. Then this all these decision making actually helps to do the optimization of the resources. Thereafter, these optimization will meet the requirement in the better way. There's also one step that is well known, which is feasibility, means evaluation whether that analysis of that project should need to be possible, means that execution of the system is possible. Is it possible to develop that system? Is it possible to have acceptance of the user? Is it possible that to earn product money out of it? Is it possible to capitalize that system? So all these things have to be studied predefined step, that is feasibility, which actually leads to the better evaluation and analysis of the potential project that are need to be developed in future. So the possibility of all these product design and management could be done in a better way. Then requirement engineering process. So in the processes used for the requirement engineering vary widely depending on the different applications have different domains, and different domains have different requirement engineering. Why? Because different peoples are being involved in different organizations, so the different type of requirements are being developed. So all these things have to be done under some process, under a well defined steps and guidelines. Then there are various methods or the process or generic activities that are being common that need to be followed for gathering the requirement engineering requirements. What are the that process that have to be followed for gathering the requirements are like requirement elicitation, requirement analysis, then requirement validation and requirement management. So all these are the process of requirement engineering. So these four steps are need to be followed for doing the better requirement engineering. Then requirement engineering is iterative activity, means it has to be keep on going and keep on the doing interaction with the end user, which has the process interrelated to each other, interrelieved. So these requirement engineering process are actually very active in nature. Then requirement engineering process further in detail are like the three main aspects of the requirement engineering are elicitation, specification, and validation. We'll see all of them in detail. First, we'll see what are the requirement elicitation. Basically, it's a interactive process which actually been done in the spiral activities that we'll see later, which actually have following parts like requirement discovery, requirement classification, and organization. Then requirement negotiations are also there. Then requirement documentations. All these are the part of that spiral activity, which actually go in round and round and round in the spiral way for the requirement elicitation. Thereafter, requirement elicitation techniques actually involves interviewing with the stakeholder or users. So various stakeholders need to tell their stories, scenarios, and what are the expectation of these users for the particular functionality and facilitation of the top of that system with the help of discussion. Then the ethnography study is also necessary, means how that community or society and the user environment was there for that system. So all these things are need to be studied before the requirement engineering would, and then the development of the system would start, so that the whole process would be in the better shape. So these are the requirement engineering process that we had seen. Then this requirement engineering process could be like from starting in the centermost part. First, the requirement engineer would find out the business requirement specification. Thereafter, finding out that business specification, it goes for the feasibility testing, whether it's possible to develop that system or not, whether it's useful or not, and whether it could capitalize or not. Then user requirement elicitation, how that requirement should be gathered or collected. Thereafter, user requirement specification was being created, that how the what are the user requirements and how it has to be mentioned. Thereafter, prototyping of that system should need to be done, means a small prototype or small tool was being created for that system. Thereafter, again the system requirement elicitation, means collection of the system requirement are being done, and then you create the, and system engineer will will create a requirement engineer will create system requirements specification, and then model the system requirements. Thereafter, all the review process will happen, and all these things will keep on happening. So this figure was basically used for generation of the system requirement documentation, so that you'll in the end you'll end up with a large document that consists of all the business specification, user specification, and system requirement specification and modeling. This spiral diagram was being divided into three quadrants. Look very clearly. First quadrant was like requirement elicitation, which actually gives rise to the development of specification. It will write the requirement specification. Thereafter, that after that quadrant, third quadrant was requirement validation, whether that product or system or the requirement specification are feasible or not feasible, prototyping is feasible or not feasible, and reviewing that whether that product was perfect or not perfect. Next, process activity. So in the process activity, requirements discoveries are the one of the step. In the requirement, after that requirement discoveries, you have the requirement classification and organization. And then after the requirement classification and organization, you would have requirement prioritization and negotiation. Thereafter, in the fourth step, you'll develop a requirement specification, which was the main part and objective of the whole process. So in the requirement discovery, we'll see in the detail. So there is interaction between the stakeholder for a particular discovery of requirements was being done. Then domain requirement are also being discovered at this stage. So various document or various domain or various studies were being done for gathering and discovering various requirements. Then requirement classification and organization was being done in the second step by grouping various related requirements and organizing them in the coherent clusters. Thereafter, the prioritization of the requirement, means these requirements are more important, and there are various negotiation between the requirements are being done. So prioritization of the requirement that actually resolve some of the requirement conflicts, and you also need to resolve the conflict between the two three different requirements in this phase. In the last phase, you end up creating a requirement specification, which is actually document, which actually have inputs and outputs, and the input to the next level of the designing, development, and implementation of the system. Then next, we'll discuss about the process engineering, which is a famous topic and study in itself, and coursework you can see in the large industrial engineering domains. Then, in understanding the fundamental principles and laws of various engineering processes actually helps you transform some raw product into some useful product that could be possible for the society and useful for the society and industry. What are the domains that are being focused by this process engineering are like designing, controlling, or operations and optimization of various intensified processes that are possible. So we'll see what are the design, control, and operation possibles. So design, process design is actually a synthesis of graph or network that are being possible. Then dividing into the hierarchy of decompositioning into the various flows of sheets. So all these things process designing deals with, like graph and network development, hierarchical decompositioning, flow chart, structured optimization. So these type of productions are being done in this phase. Then process control means how the modeling of the predictive control takes place. Controllability measures, robust control, nonlinear control, statistical process control. These are various topics which works and studied under the process control. Process monitoring, a collection of measurements, method of taking measurements, controlling the desired measurement. All these things are being studied under process control. So we are just seeing all these topics which actually been covered at the different parts of the process engineering. Then process operation. What are the topic being covered? Scheduling of process network, time variant planning and optimization, data reconciliation, real-time optimizations, flexibility measurement, and fault diagnosis. All these things are covered in the process of operations. Thereafter, in the process economics, simultaneous software or simulation softwares are being developed for generation of break-even point, finding what are the break-even point, net present value of that thing, marginal sales could be identified, marginal cost could be identified for the process economic. Then process data analytics. So the data analytics or machine learning are actually being applied for the process engineering as well. Means the purpose of that are to study what are the process of that engineering. Then various supporting tools are also being possible, like sequential modular simulation, equation based process simulations. Then AI expert or system expert was being there for for decision making purpose. Large scale non-linear programming kind of tools are also possible. Optimization of differential algebra equation DAE is also a tool possible. Mixed integer nonlinear programming tool is available. Global optimization tool is also available. Optimization under uncertainty. So all these optimization tools and techniques for the nonlinear programming are available. Then you have quality functional development. So you also have for the cost estimation tool like ASP and SuperPro. Then we'll study process flow diagram. We'll see it has process pipelining. It actually do for the done for the major equipment item analysis. Then the connection of various other systems are also being studied with in under these process flow diagrams. then major bypass or recirculation, recycling of that streams are need to be studied. Then what are the operational data like temperature, pressure, mass flow rate, density are being studied under this process flow diagram that often deals with streaming of various references to the mass balance. All these things are being done, process stream names, because this process flow diagram was being generated in very old time of industrial engineering, like around 100 years ago or 50, 60 years ago. So this have basically pipelining study, and various big industries have different pumps working together, and they have connections with different system, and motors are there, transportations, electrical systems are there, temperature and pressures and various densities should need to be measured. So all these things are basically developed for the large industry purpose. So this was an example of amine treatment process. So this is the complex flow diagram for the typical industrial plant. For example, it takes a source gas, do the makeup of water, sweetening of gas, then rich amine was being generated, and then the condenser would do the some condensation, reflux was being generated, vaporization, liquid generation, steam, reboiling, pump, type of operating ranges like temperature was being mentioned, pressure was being mentioned. So we are seeing this diagram just to understand that this type of diagram actually helps you to understand what are the requirement and how that requirement should be developed in the real world. So you try to develop this small diagram in the your specification in document, and then you try to develop some prototype, and then you try to develop some large structure of that industrial factory product. Next we'll see for the computer science background software development process. So actually flow structure of that development cycles were there. So from starting the code was being in the initially designing means understanding of how the code should work and how the process should work was being done, then the coding part was being done, and then for that coding you do the testing whether that code is working properly or not. If there are two kinds of error, if the error was found to be determined whether it's a design error or not. If it is a design error, then you need to do the coding again and you can have a quick fix. But if there is a design error was there, then the longer time would be there because you go to the designing phase and you try to find out how the code need to be developed again. Means if the error is not related to design error, then you directly go for the coding, means improvement in the coding, and you need to do the changing in the coding. But if the problem is with the design, that you had done a fault in the creation of designing of that tool, then you have to do the reconstruction of the whole thing. Then how the process flow diagram means how new processes were being created. So you can do research, various researches, you have visionary idea, inspiration, then thinking, brainstorming was being possible, designing you need to do, and then creation of the process. All these things are need to be done one by one and again and again. Then we'll see system modeling. So in the system modeling, the process of development of abstract models are being done for the system. Then the model are being presented in the different view perspective and how that new model should work and how the modeling of the abstract behavior of the system should work. Then one of the famous graphical notation tool that are being present for representing the system models are is known as unified modeling language, which has various annotation that we are going to see just next. Then system modeling actually helps the analyst to understand various functionality of the system and model that are being used to communicate with the customer. So this model helps to communicate with the customer with various understanding of functionality and behavior of the system. So it makes the communication easier with the customer. So we'll study UML diagram types. So various activity diagrams are being possible in this UML diagram, which actually involves various processes and data processing. First one we'll see use case diagram, which actually helps you do the interaction between system and its environment. So use case diagram is one of the important thing. Then you have the sequence diagram, means interaction between various actors and systems and various component inside the system itself. So actor was interacting with the system and actor is interacting with the various component. Who are the actor? Actor are the stakeholders and users or other machines or other softwares. So actor could be the user, end user or the user. Then state diagram. So state diagram actually gives you information about how the external or internal event was going for from one state to another state, means movement of the process. So this is an example of the use case diagram for ment care systems, where the medical receptionist were been actually doing the registration of the patient and viewing personal information. Then the manager exports the statistics and do the generate the report based upon the some large information. Then nurse actually do the view of record, editing record, set up consultation with the doctor, and all these type of things functions. So in the OL there is functionality or operation that are need to be performed by the system, and these are the actor, medical receptionist, nurse, manager and doctor. Here in this case it's humans, but in advanced cases they could be other things as well. So this is a simple example of software. Next, we'll see sequence diagram for the particular software for the medical care systems. Like patient info was being called by the medical receptionist, view patient info. Then the report was being called from the ment care database. Then authorization was being done for that medical receptionist, and authorization was being done. Then the patient information goes inside. If the patient information is being generated, okay, was being transported, so the medical receptionist will get the patient information, otherwise the error will be called out. Then we'll see a small state diagram of a microwave oven. How it operates? It operates by checking whether there's alarm or not, whether it has been cooked or not, it's having timeout or not. If it is timeout, before that you do the that oven will do the buzzer for 5 seconds, uh, and whether the door is open or not, it checks, and whether it is waiting or not. So all these things are being state whether the oven been cooked or not. So all these things were the kind of diagrams that you develop for the require in the requirement phase for the better development and specification, better understanding of the system. Next, in the next, we'll see the logistics management, and it's also one of the important part of the requirements engineering. I hope you have enjoyed that engineering process and the process engineering. Thanks for today. Bye.